Once upon a time, in a village far away east, there lived a farmer and his wife. The farmer was a promising and diligent young man who had twin sons. He used to work in his farm all hours of the day, but he never had good yields, and this got him frustrated. Seeing that things were not going well, his wife began to work in the farm with him, and things started to get better. The farmer's sons, Azuka and Ndoka, grew and became as diligent as their father. When it was time for them to get married, their father wanted them to get married to girls from the same family, since they were twins. He thought to himself that if the girls are siblings, they will stay united and won't have any kind of problem between them. So the farmer and his wife decided to look for girls from a good family for their sons. And after a long search, they found twin sisters, Oloma and Oledo, for their twin boys to marry. After a few months, the two pair of twins got married. One of the twins, whose name was Ndoka, and his wife Oledo, welcomed a baby girl. The family were so happy. At this time, Ejindo the farmer was weak and fragile, so he divided his farmland and shared it equally to his sons. Azuka and Ndoka handled their share of the farmland individually, and yet shared a strong bond. Whenever any one of them was not around or fit to go to the farm, the other handled both farms. Azuka, who was yet to bear his own child, took care of his brother's daughter as though she was his. Years passed, and both brothers continued to live in peace and harmony. Whenever it was time for harvest, both brothers harvested their crops and sold them in the market. One day after harvest, Ndoka got home. His wife Oledo asked him how much harvest he made. He told her, and she told him that his brother made more. Both brothers sold their farm produce in the market, and as usual, Azuka bought some wrappers and gold necklace for his wife. Out of excitement, Oloma went to show Oledo all the husband got for her. Oledo was happy for her sister. And just when Oloma was about leaving, their uncle's wife Ugoma arrived, and seeing the gifts given to Oloma by her husband Azuka, she commended Azuka for always buying things for his wife on every harvest. Oloma thanked her and left. Ugoma then asked Oledo what her husband bought for her. But Oledo told her that her husband did not buy anything for her, as their crops did not have much yield. Ugoma then told Oledo that their farm never have good yields, and that is because Azuka, the brother-in-law, took the most fertile part of the land and left the less fertile part for Ndoka. She went on to tell Oledo that Azuka is very devious and isn't as good as he portrays. But Oledo told her that Azuka and Ndoka have never had any issues. Later that day, when Ndoka was back from the farm, Oledo told him that the brother has, as usual, got the wife wrappers and gold necklace, and he never got her any. Ndoka told Oledo that he could not get her any gift because their farm crops didn't do well, and so they didn't make much profit. Oledo asked her husband why is it that every year, after putting in hard work, his brother's crop still does better than theirs. That she think he gave him the less fertile part of the farm and took the more fertile part. Ndoka then told the wife that she might be right because their father had divided the farmland equally, and his brother took the part which was originally meant for him. while he was left with his brother's portion. But he never took it seriously. And now that his portion is not doing as good as his brother's, that he thinks his brother had cheated him. And he was able to do so because they have never had any differences between them. So he thought the brother was doing him good. Oledo was very angry with the situation, and so she wondered what a childless couple would do with all the wealth. Oledo told her husband Ndoka that they would have to find a way to steal Azuka's money and wrappers. At first, Ndoka was not in support of the idea, but after much persuasion, he gave in. After a few days, Azuka told his brother Ndoka that him and his wife would be going to the neighboring village to see a herbalist who helps childless couples, and he would want them to accompany them. Ndoka, remembering the plan he had with his wife, told him he would discuss with his wife and get back to him. Ndoka went and told his wife about his brother's request, and the wife told him it's right time for them to execute their plan. And so they decided to go with them after they had arranged a thief to go and steal from Azuka's house to avoid suspicions. The next day in the morning, as they had planned, both families went to see the herbalist. And on their way, Ndoka asked Azuka why he took his own part of the farmland when their father shared it. His land is more fertile, and he now feels he cheated him. Azuka wondered why he would doubt his honesty, and so he told him that the section that was initially given to him had lower outgrowth. Because he was not as strong as he was then, he decided to give him the more fertile one. He has worked so hard on that farm all these years, but Ndoka had never concentrated well on his portion. Azuka then told him that if he put in more effort, he would get more crops to harvest, and they continued with their journey. After seeing the herbalist, they were now on their way home, when Azuka thought it's getting late and decided they spend the night there and leave the next morning. The both families spent the night there, and in their village, 2 security guards were roaming around. And as planned, the thief had arrived at this time. He was confused on which house belongs to Azuka, and instead of robbing Azuka, he robbed Ndoka. And while he was exceeding, the guards spotted him. He got very furious, and in a hurry, he threw the bag away and escaped. The next day, while they were all returning home, they saw the bag by the roadside. Azuka thought maybe someone had forgotten the bag there, and so he thought they could hand it over to the guards. And just then, Ndoka said the bag looked like theirs, and immediately drew closer to see the contents of the bag. Then Azuka opened the bag, and he saw the gold necklace he had given to his niece on her first birthday, and some other things that belongs to his brother. When Ndoka saw this, he knelt down and told his brother how he had planned with a thief to steal from him, apologized to him. Ndoka, who had always had his brother's back, gave his farmland to his brother and took his. Both brothers worked hard in their individual farms the next year and made same amount of harvest and continued to live in peace.